Hello you fine ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? I hope your day is going well. Today we're doing something a little different, maybe starting a new series. This is the top tips and tricks of the week, which I'm planning to do every Friday or Saturday. I know this one is coming out on a Monday, but for future uploads I am planning for Friday or Saturday. But I haven't truly decided yet, and I'm also planning to do this for more than just Star Wars Battlefront, possibly expanding to other games in the near future like Battlefield 1 and Titanfall, but we'll have to see, of course. Now, another thing that I'm thinking we might do for this series is have community tips and tricks that will be featured, so if you have any tips and tricks for Star Wars Battlefront that you would like to share, feel free to put them in the comments down below, and they may be featured in the next episode of Tips and Tricks for Battlefront. So without further ado, let's hop into the tips and tricks of the week for Battlefront. Coming in at tip number 1 is one that's actually been around for a while, but I never got around to covering it in my previous videos, and this has to do with hitting the cooling flush on your blaster when you overheat it. As you probably know, the more times you successfully hit the cooling flush, it gets harder and harder to hit the following time, and if you miss the cooling flush, your blaster freaks out and you have to wait for it to cool down, which really takes a while and puts you in a pretty bad position on the battlefield. Therefore, I highly suggest that the next time you overheat your blaster and you're not directly in combat and can spare a few seconds, don't hit the cooling flush and let the blaster cool manually, so that when you really do need to hit it, it's not really tiny and hard to hit. Moving on to the next tip, use a trait card that suits the map and the game mode. Trait cards are actually extremely beneficial in this game, and if used correctly can totally turn the tables on your opponents. If you're going into a match and you know you'll be aiming down sights a lot and staying in the back behind the battle, the sharpshooter trait is probably the one you want to use. On the other side of things, if you know you'll be charging into the enemy lines and playing the offensive role, the berserker or bodyguard traits are pretty good options. And then there are of course many other situations where different traits would apply. Moving on to the next tip, use strafing. This is something I actually forget about a lot when playing Battlefront, but when playing a game like Halo and the combat, in a certain sense, is slowed down, you can see just how crucial strafing is to come out on top of a firefight. Now, really wide strafes don't really help you that much because you're still a pretty easy target, but quick little strafes from side to side make it easier for you to aim at your opponent and harder for them to keep their crosshair on your character. The next tip is for when you're playing as an honor guard or one of the Emperor's guards. As a guard, you'll of course have increased health and damage, which can make you a very powerful asset on the battlefield, but you're far from invincible. To take full advantage of the guards, play cautiously and most of all, play the objective, as a force like that can really turn the tides of battle. For the final tip, and this one refers directly to Fighter Squadron, do not lock on to an enemy as soon as you see them. One, because the lock on can now overheat and it alerts the other pilot of your presence. So they will probably begin flying pretty erratically, making them a far harder target to hit. Instead, wait until they are an easier target and then initiate the lock on. Anyways, that has been the first episode of Tips and Tricks of the Week. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know how you like the new series in the comments down below. If you wish to subscribe, feel more than welcome to. And as always, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.